For years, I thrived in the high-pressure business world, but the workaholic life finally caught up with me. I was 35, very overweight, in chronic pain with severe mobility issues, terrible diet, no exercise. My health was a complete wreck. Then I went to a gentle yoga class and felt truly relaxed. The stress just melted away. I went from a size 18 to a size 8. I stopped getting sick. Pain disappeared. I learned to open my heart and I felt happy for the first time in years. So I said goodbye to the business world and started teaching. Yoga doesn't have to be strenuous. The easiest movements can trigger major release of chronic symptoms, no matter your age.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Hello, I'm Deborah Devine, and that was my story. My very real problems were causing a profound depression, and it would only deepen with the onset of winter, much like seasonal affective disorder. It was sad. As we age, SAD can also be an issue for some Zoomers due to a decline in the body's vitamin D levels and a sedentary lifestyle that might keep us indoors. But yoga helps release dopamine and serotonin, our feel-good chemicals. So I've created a very simple sequence of floor and standing poses to open our hearts and combat SAD. Anyone can do it. Let's start the healing. Joining me today, Christine. Hi, Christine. Christine gets very depressed every winter. And Gay. Hi, Gay. Gay really has a bad reaction to the cold and turns into a hermit until spring. Let's begin with a warm-up. We're coming into waterfall pose, legs up the wall, and we'll be using a blanket to support the heart. Now, let's come down. The legs are coming up onto the chair back, and the blanket is coming right underneath the shoulder blades, elevating the heart. Now, we're resting here, the legs elevated, and all of the blood that has been resting in the lower extremities is now pooling down into the low belly. We have this wonderful support under the heart, which gives us a back bend and really creates space for the heart and the lungs. Our breaths get a little bit deeper, a little bit longer, and we're moving out of the fight-flight aspect of the nervous system into the rest and digest aspect, the parasympathetic. Resting in Viparita Karani when we're dealing with dark emotions during the winter months is a wonderful practice to keep your spirits high. All of the poses that we're working with today are going to help us improve our production of dopamine and serotonin. Back bends are definitely happy poses in our yoga practice. Now, let's work with Viloma 1 to raise our spirits. This is the interrupted in-breath. We take a long, slow, smooth out-breath and pause at the end of the out-breath. And then we inhale into the lower part of the belly and we pause. Inhale into the middle part of the belly and pause. And then inhale into the rest of the chest. Pause at the top of the in-breath. Feel that wonderful fullness of prana and life force. And then exhale softly. Inhale into the lower abdomen. Pause. Inhale into the middle abdomen. Pause. And then inhale into the rest of the chest, all the way to the top. Pause at the top of the in-breath. And then exhale softly. The legs are relaxed. We're drawing energy down out of the lower extremities and allowing that prana to pool in the low belly. The hips are grounded right now and the heart is lifted up. So all of this prana is pooling in the lower abdomen. We've got this wonderful opening through the chest, broadening through the collarbones, and we're drawing the shoulder blades down the back to further broaden the upper part of the chest. Let the neck be nice and long, and take the chin down to the jugular notch. When we're dealing with seasonal affective disorder, it's very important to engage back bends in the practice. Back bends are natural, happy poses. When we're in a depressed state, the front of the body is typically collapsed. So when we come into the opposite, opening up the heart and opening up the lungs, we get more oxygen and we feel lighter and happier. The fourth chakra is the chakra that governs love and joy. When we're working with back bends, we are balancing the fourth chakra. Please continue to enjoy Viparita Karani and Pranayama, Viloma 1. And when we come back, we'll have more yoga solutions to help us deal with seasonal affective disorder.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems. For more yoga, go to visiontv.ca/healing-yoga. Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Hello, my name is Christine, and I'm affected every year by SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder. And it's very much like depression, but it's seasonal. It certainly affects me very strongly, where I get all the symptoms of depression. And I'm hoping today that yoga can help me over this period, because I've had it for a long time, I'd say 10, 15 years, and I'm sick of it, and I'm hoping that yoga can show me the way.
Welcome back. In this practice today, we're using gentle yoga to help us cope with symptoms of seasonal affective disorder. Christine, you've been dealing with this a long time. What kind of coping mechanisms are you using?
Well, I've heard that light therapy is very important, so I always have all the lights on in my house, and sometimes that affects my electricity bill. So, or if it's a nice day, I'll go outside. I'll have to go outside. But on those dark days, I really don't have one. I don't have a coping mechanism for that.
Well, now you do. These next poses are really going to take us into the happy zone. Let's come down into crocodile pose. This is a wonderful pose that we rest on the belly and we rest the forehead on the stacked arms. This is a really wonderful pose. When we rest the forehead, the whole mind calms down. When we're feeling upset and depressed that we don't have as much light, we can really let that take us down into a downward spiral. Coming down onto the floor, we're grounding our negative energies, we're grounding our negative emotions, and we have a lot of emotional tension in the belly. Use your breaths. Take long, slow, smooth in-breaths and feel those breaths all through the back. Long, slow, smooth, and complete out-breaths, grounding any negative thoughts, any negative emotions, and resting and calming the brain as you rest your forehead on the stacked arms. Now we're going to come up to baby cobra. First, we engage the legs in a way that will support the low back. We take the legs and we give them an inner spiral, so the knees are facing into the midline and the toes are facing into the midline. We come up on the elbows. We're moving the ribs away from the top of the hips. And then we come back down, heart resting on the floor, fingers are spread nice and wide, and we've got the hands below the armpits. Now, press the Pubic Symphysis, the pubic bone, and the hip points down into the ground. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the hamstrings. Really engage and press down into the hands and the fingers, and keep the elbows in and rise the heart up. Shoulder blades come down the back. Neck gets nice and long, and we take the gaze forward, resting in a spot about a foot ahead of us. Long, slow, smooth in-breaths. Long, slow, smooth, and complete out-breaths. Energize the whole back line of the body. Then, exhale, come down, stack the arms, and rest the forehead again in crocodile. These back bends are very important for our emotional health. When we're going through stressful times, when we're really upset about the lack of light and the change of the seasons and things getting darker and colder, it's really important to engage in as many back bends as possible. We're opening up the fourth chakra, the heart chakra. Let's come up into downward facing dog. We're going to use a chair today to support us. If you don't have a chair handy, of course you can use a wall. If you're feeling a little bit less flexible, you can use the chair back. Gay is feeling a little bit more flexible, so she'll be using the chair seat. We start close to the chair, and then we begin to walk back, holding on to the chair. We take the feet a little bit wider than the hips, and we give the legs an inner spiral. That's protecting the SI joints. We go as far as it feels comfortable, and as soon as we edge into the discomfort zone, we just back off a little bit. Let the heart come forward and open up through the armpits. Long, slow, smooth in-breaths and long, slow, smooth, and complete out-breaths are helping extend the spine, make lots of room in the discs. And we're also reversing that forward fold that we are always in because we're sitting at our desks or sitting in cars. We are giving ourselves another wonderful back bend and extension of the spine, which is reversing the effects of that forward folding and crunching forward that we do when we're sitting at our desks and driving. Rotate the upper arms externally. Draw the shoulder blades down the back and in toward the heart. Now, press down into the base of the fingers and the index fingers especially. Exhale completely. Feel the belly come to the front spine. Pause for a moment, and then that in-breath comes. It fills up the sides of the lungs, the backs of the lungs. Yes. Bending the knees, taking the feet a little bit wider apart. Heels are out, toes are in. Yes. Fantastic. That inner spiral is really helpful for getting a proper extension, a safe extension of the spine. Please continue to enjoy Downward Facing Dog for the next few minutes. And when we come back, we'll have more yoga solutions for seasonal affective disorder.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems. For more yoga, go to visiontv.ca/healing-yoga. Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Hi, my name is Gabe Austin, and I'm 45 years old. I suffer from a SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder. Now, what that means is that I get really depressed in winter, and only because I am freezing, and then my mood turns downward. What I've done for that now is that I've decided to go away. I would like my doctor to, in fact, prescribe geography to solve the problem. But my friends have encouraged me to try yoga. So here I am, and let's see how that works out.
Welcome back. In today's episode, we're using our gentle practice to help us deal with seasonal affective disorder. Gay, how are you dealing with all of the symptoms? What do you do for yourself?
Well, I like to take supplements. So I do double up and triple up on vitamin D. So if you usually would take 1,000 UIs, one drop of it, I would take 3 to 4 drops. I take that along with vitamin C. I like to take a multivitamin that we all should be taking, and I do zinc and vitamin A.
Wow, that is amazing. You just take such good care of yourself. This practice is also an excellent way to take care of yourself. Just carving out a few minutes every day and taking a few of these poses can have such an amazing effect. Now we're going to be chasing some more of those blues away with the next sequence of moves. Let's go into side bends, supported by bolster. We're going to be using the bolster underneath the waist, and we drape ourselves over top of the bolster. Bottom knee is bent, creating a nice foundation for the pose, and the top leg is long. We're going to be moving the heel away, so we're engaging dorsiflexion, spreading the toes nice and wide. Then we are engaging the leg muscles and moving the leg out of the hip socket. We're moving the hip away from the bottom of the ribs. We're expanding all of the ribs out away from the top of the hip, and we're opening up the armpit. We take the bottom hand and we hold onto the top wrist. Other way, yeah. And we're pulling on that top wrist. We're opening up all of this top plane using the breath. Long, slow, smooth in breaths, and long, slow, smooth, and complete out breaths. Now we're switching sides. Let's come up. And we're going to take the legs over to the opposite side. And we're going to get this bolster underneath the waist. And then we drape ourselves over top of the bolster, getting lots of room on the top. Bottom leg is bent. Top leg is long. And we're using the breath to breathe light and spaciousness into the midsection. The belly is where most of our serotonin is produced. And this is really important to get lots of opening through the midsection. If we use our imagination and imagery to breathe light and spaciousness deep into all of the belly organs and exhale tension, gripping, holding out of the muscles of the spine, the muscles around the belly, the abdominal muscles. And the diaphragm loves when we really move the out breath up toward the heart. Now we're going to be coming up into Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, supported with 2 bolsters and a belt. Bend the top knee and use the upper body strength to help you come up. Wonderful. Now we're going to be taking these bolsters lengthwise. We've got a belt that's going to be coming around the upper legs. This is really important to protect the SI joints. Now we're going to use the arms to let us come back into this very gentle back bend. Okay, come on back. The shortage of the bolster is right underneath the heart, underneath the shoulder blades. Can you come down and rest your shoulders? Okay. Taking your arms out in cactus formation or like a T. Then we let the legs come long. We give the legs an inner spiral and we get wider through the back of the hips. Then we just let the legs go. The belt is going to prevent the legs from splaying out, putting the low back in jeopardy. So this is a wonderful way to experience a gentle back bend, opening the heart. This is a wonderful pose here, Gay. I'd like to make it a little bit more comfortable for you. Let's bend the knees, and then we'll just move our sit bones a little bit closer. Yes, now the shoulder shelf is resting on the ground. Beautiful. We get an external rotation of the upper arm bones, letting the palms just face the sky. Now, let the legs come long and rest. This is an excellent pose to open the heart and strengthen the heart. We have more room for breath in the lungs. And we are also working with the energies of love, kindness, forgiveness, and joy. Back bends are very effective, and they help us change our mood almost immediately. Take a few back bends if you start to feel a little bit blue. Enjoy these back bends. You can spend 15 minutes in this kind of a back bend as long as your back is feeling comfortable. Now, please continue to enjoy this pose for the next few minutes, and when we come back, we'll be warming down.
Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems. For more yoga, go to visiontv.ca/healing-yoga. Healing Yoga. Yoga for real people with real problems.
Vitamin D is vital for people living with seasonal affective disorder. Increase your dosage as the days become shorter.
Welcome back. In this practice, we've been working with poses to help us with seasonal affective disorder. We've been opening the heart. We've been moving old prana, old negative energy down. And we've been creating space for fresh prana and fresh vitality to come in. This is an isolating condition. And this practice is going to get you back into life. We're going to be doing one more back bend before we come down for our final Savasana. This is boat pose modified with a belt, so we can open the heart. We take a belt. You can use an old bathrobe tie or your husband's old tie. And we're using the belt around the bra line. And then the feet are going to be coming into the other end of the belt. We take the hands behind us to support us. We draw the shoulder blades down the back and open the front of the heart. Yes. Then we lean back into the hands and lift the feet up and press the feet into the belt. You can have long legs if your hamstrings are comfortable, or you can bend your knees. Long, slow, smooth in-breaths. Long, slow, smooth, and complete out-breaths. Lengthen the front of the spine. Move the heart forward. Take the shoulder blades down the back. Excellent. Now, let go. Come back. Bend the knees. Take the feet to the floor. And we'll remove the belt and come down for final Shavasana. Now we're moving into elevated legs and elevated chest Shavasana. We take a bolster lengthwise on the mat, and we use a pillow to support the head and the neck. Then we take another bolster and place it under the knees. And then we use the hands on the ground to help us get long on the front line of the spine on the in-breath. And then we exhale and we come back and feel the bolster supporting us. Draw the shoulder blades down the back and in behind the heart. And take the arms away from the side ribs so that we've got more room to bring breath. Rotate the arms externally and let the palms face the sky and let the fingers just unfurl like the petals of a lotus. Yes. Lengthen the legs one at a time and let the legs rest. We lengthen through the back of the neck and we draw the chin down toward the jugular notch. Let yourself surrender completely here into your supports. Long, slow, smooth in-breath, breathing in light and spaciousness into the feet, the legs, and the hips. Exhaling tension, exhaling holding. Please continue to enjoy Savasana for at least another 15 minutes. And we'll see you again next time on Healing Yoga. Namaste.